Tell me, when was the last time they looked at you and felt afraid? Not of your strength, not of your words, but of your silence. Silence is sharper than a blade. Silence is the shadow that follows every truth you've ever kept hidden. And they notice it. They notice it, even if they pretend they don't. The truth, they've been measuring you, counting your steps, waiting for a moment to underestimate you again. And that moment never comes, because you've learned something they never will. You don't need their permission to exist on your own terms. You don't need to explain your chaos. You need to embrace it, fully, relentlessly. Power isn't polite. Power doesn't knock. Power doesn't wait for applause. Power moves quietly. It creeps. It waits. And when it arrives like thunder. They won't see it coming until it's already inside their world. And by then it's too late. They feel it. The shift. The tremor. The change. Here's a thought. Danger isn't loud. Danger is an unseen weight, a pressure in the air, a pause in their breath. And once they sense it, once they feel it, they cannot return to the way things were before. That is your gift. That is your weapon. They won't admit it, but they fear it, and they should. You've been underestimated for too long, ignored, brushed aside, told you were too much or not enough. But here's the brutal truth. They were never ready for you, and that's why you stand here now. Not asking for space, but taking it. Not begging for respect, but demanding it without a word. So ask yourself, when was the last time you owned your chaos? When was the last time you stepped out of the shadows and let them truly feel it? That moment is coming, and it will arrive without warning, because danger doesn't negotiate. Danger simply exists, and they will learn it the hard way. There is a thin, trembling line between calm and chaos. You've been standing on it longer than they know. They call it balance. I call it preparation, because the edge isn't where you fall. It's where you decide to leap, and the leap is where they lose their bearings. Every heartbeat is a choice. Every breath is a weapon. You've learned to move quietly, to think loudly, to speak softly, but cut deep. The most dangerous things are not shouted. They are whispered, and those whispers echo louder than war cries. They linger, they unsettle, they haunt. They think they know you. They think they've figured the rules of your game, but they haven't, because you've rewritten them. You walk without maps. You act without warning. And that uncertainty, that beautiful, maddening uncertainty, is your power. They cannot predict you, and they fear what they cannot predict. There is beauty in control, but there is terror in letting go. And you've mastered both. You've learned when to hold steady, and when to let the storm in, not for destruction's sake, but for transformation. Because control is not ownership. Control is awareness, and awareness is dangerous. The truth they hide from themselves is simple. The most powerful force is the one that doesn't ask for permission, that moves without apology, that exists without explanation. You've become that force, and now they can feel every glance, every silence, every pause you take. It unsettles them. So remember this, the edge isn't a place of weakness. It is the birthplace of power. It is where danger is born. It is where they see the truth they never wanted to face. That you are no longer here to be understood. You are here to be felt, and they are trembling because they know it. They do not understand power. They think it's loud, flashy, something to be displayed, but real power lives in the shadows. It lives in the silence between words, in the glance you don't explain, in the pause that makes them wonder what comes next. That pause, that silence, is your language. Power speaks without shouting. It moves without announcing. It arrives without invitation. And once it settles into the air, they feel it, deep in their bones. They cannot name it, they cannot fight it. They can only acknowledge it in fear. And that recognition is your victory. You've been underestimated, ignored, treated as something less. And so you learned not to impress, not to explain, but to embody, to exist without apology, to become the question that lingers in every mind. The uncertainty that unravels their certainty, the truth they can't unhear. Danger is not found in force. Danger is found in control of perception. It's the art of being everywhere without being, of letting them sense your presence without proof. That subtle tension, that unseen weight, is what unsettles them most. That is your weapon. That is your art. Every glance they cast your way carries curiosity and caution. Every word they speak is measured. Every silence they hold is a question mark aimed at you. And you do nothing but smile quietly. Not in arrogance, but in understanding. They feel it. They know something has changed. The greatest power is the one they cannot see. It is the chaos they cannot name. And you have learned to speak that language fluently. They don't even know they are listening until the truth hits them, and it hits harder than they ever imagined. Every empire begins in silence. Every revolution begins in thought. Every war worth fighting begins in... They fight battles in the open. You fight wars in the mind. And your battlefield is invisible. They can't see it. They can't touch it. But they feel it. In every breath you take. The war within is the war they cannot prepare for. It is the quiet storm that shapes your present. It is the invisible force that makes them hesitate, that makes them question, that makes them doubt themselves. And doubt is the most dangerous weapon you can wield. Pain lives inside you. Doubt lives inside you. Fear lives inside you. And you have learned to turn them into allies, not enemies, to use them as fuel, to twist them into the fire that keeps you alive. That fire is dangerous, not because they see it, but because they feel it. They want you to explain yourself, to justify your rise, to give them a map to your mind. But there is no map, there is no guide. You are a question, a riddle, a force they cannot contain, and that is the essence of danger. It lives inside you now. The fiercest battles are fought in silence. They are fought in thoughts that are never spoken, in choices that are never explained, in moments when you stand still while the world moves around you. And in that stillness, they sense the war has already been won. So stand on that edge. Let the war inside you grow. Let it sharpen every thought. Let it make every silence loud. Because when the war within is mastered, there is no force on earth that can touch you. And they know it. They feel it. They fear it. Presence is not given. Presence is taken. It is claimed in moments no one notices. It is owned in silence, in the weight of your still. They cannot argue with presence. They cannot bargain with it. They can only feel it. And that feeling, it changes everything. It is not about being loud. It is about being undeniable. A shadow in a room of light. A force without noise. You do not need to prove yourself. They prove it to themselves the moment they notice you do not answer their questions. That is when the reckoning begins. They watch, they measure, they whisper, but they do not know. Every glance they cast your way is a confession, a quiet admission that you are no longer in their reach, that your presence has become something they cannot explain, and that unsettles them more than fear ever could. Presence is a currency they cannot steal. It is forged in the silence after the noise. It is built in moments of stillness when your mind is loud with purpose. And they feel, not in what you say, but in what you choose not to say. That absence is louder than any cry. You have learned that the most dangerous thing is not the weapon in your hand. It is the weight in your presence. The kind of presence that shifts the air, that changes the room, that makes them aware they are no longer in control. And that is power. So stand still, stand heavy. Stand silent. Let the world wonder what moves behind that calm. Let them feel it. Let them tremble quietly. Because presence is the beginning of the reckoning, and they know it is coming. Chaos is not destruction. Chaos is creation without apology. It is the fire that shapes steel, the storm that carves mountains, the whisper that unsettles certainty. And you have learned to carry it quietly, to weave it into your existence without announcing it. They fear chaos because it cannot be tamed. It cannot be mapped. They want order, predictability, certainty. But you are not their answer. You are the question they cannot solve, the riddle they cannot name. And that is your advantage. Controlled chaos is not losing control. It is owning it. It is walking the edge of the storm and smiling because you know the storm is yours to command. You do not run from chaos. You invite it. You let it teach you. You let it sharpen you. They think chaos is noise. They think it is rash and reckless. They do not see it as art. They do not feel it as power. But you know the truth. Chaos is a language, and you have learned to speak it fluently, in silence, in glance, in action. They will try to imitate it. They will call it madness. They will try to box it. But chaos cannot be owned by them. It cannot be framed or controlled by anyone but its wielder. And now it belongs to you, quietly, relentlessly, unapologetically. So move with it, live with it. Let chaos flow in your presence like a current they cannot resist. Let it unsettle them. Let it define you. Because controlled chaos is not just a power, it is your identity. And they know it. They fear it. They feel it. Pain is not a curse. Pain is a teacher, a sculptor, a hidden forge where strength is born. Every scar you carry is a language they cannot speak. Every wound is a map of where you've been and where you will go. Pain is your compass. They think pain will break you, but they have no idea. Pain refines you. It burns away weakness until only steel remains. And steel does not beg for mercy. Steel does not apologize for its presence. Steel does not negotiate. Steel stands quietly, relentlessly. Pain lives quietly in your bones. It whispers to you when no one is listening. It sharpens your senses. It fuels your silence. And when they watch you stand, unshaken, they know you have walked through storms they could never survive. And that truth terrifies them. You have learned to carry pain like armor, to make it your shield and your sword, to let it burn without burning you, to let it teach you without breaking you. Because pain without purpose is suffering. Pain with purpose is power, and you have chosen power. They will never see it coming. They will not understand why you move differently, why your presence carries weight, why your silence cuts deeper than noise. It is because you have made pain your ally, and they can feel it, even if they refuse to name it. So remember, pain is not a wound to hide. Pain is a weapon to wield, a force to own, a secret they can never steal. Let them watch quietly as you transform suffering into strength, and let them tremble because they feel your danger. Influence is not shown. Influence is felt, like a shadow in a room, like a chill before the storm. They may not name it. They may not understand it, but they cannot deny it. It moves through the air quietly, relentlessly. They measure power in what they see, but you measure power in what they cannot see. The quiet weight of your presence, the pause before your words, the way silence bends the room to your will, that is influence. And it is invisible. The most dangerous force is the one they never notice arriving. Influence is not chaos. It is control disguised as calm. It is the art of bending reality without breaking it. And once they feel it, they are already changed. They simply don't know how. You do not announce influence. You embody it. You breathe it. You let it grow in the spaces between noise. They feel it in the way the air shifts when you enter, in the way conversations pause, in the way they instinctively turn to watch even when they try not to. They fear influence because it cannot be contained. It cannot be answered with force. It cannot be bargained with. They can only acknowledge it in silence. And that silence becomes your victory. Every glance toward you confirms it. Every unspoken thought proves it. So own it. Let it live quietly within you. Let it shape the world without your permission. Let them feel it in every breath you take. Because influence is the quietest form of power, and you have learned to wield it without mercy. Order is theirs. Predictability is theirs. Safety is theirs. But you have learned the truth. Chaos is yours. It is not something to fear. It is something to become. It is not destruction, it is definition. It is who you are. They want to tame you, to put you in lines, to place you in boxes. But you have no lines, no boxes, no map. You are the storm they pretend they understand, but never can. And that is the power they cannot bear. Chaos is not noise. It is a signature, a mark no one can erase. It is the art of being unbound, the courage to walk without a path, to speak without permission, to exist without explanation. And they cannot unhear that truth once they feel it. You have made chaos your language, your shield, your weapon. It is in the way you stand, the way you breathe, the way silence follows you like a shadow. Chaos is not in what you do, it is in who you are. And they know it. They feel it. They fear it. The truth is this. Once chaos becomes your identity, you stop fighting for control. You embody it. You own it. You carry it without apology. And suddenly nothing can touch you. Nothing can define you. Nothing can silence you. So stand in it. Let it live in every glance, every breath, every step. Let chaos become your name. Let them speak it in whispers. Let them fear it quietly. Because once chaos is who you are, they can no longer negotiate with you. This is the moment they have been waiting for. And the moment when your silence becomes a verdict. When your stillness becomes a storm. When your presence becomes a reckoning. They feel it. Already, in the air, in the weight, in the pause. They have tried to name you, to define you, to contain you. But the truth is, you cannot be named. You cannot be contained. You cannot be explained. You are not their story. You are your own. And they know it now. They feel it. They fear it. The reckoning is not a choice. It is inevitable. It arrives quietly, but it strikes like lightning. It is the moment they stop pretending. The moment they stop looking away. The moment they see you as you truly are. Unshakable, undeniable, dangerous. They will speak your name in whispers. They will wonder how it happened. They will say it could not have been predicted, but they will feel it deep down. All because danger is not announced. Danger is claimed, and you have claimed it. You are no longer asking for space. You are taking it. No longer begging for respect. You are demanding it. No longer living by their rules. You are writing your own. And they know, they feel, they cannot stop it. Not now, not ever. So stand tall, stand heavy, stand still. Let the silence speak louder than noise. Let presence become power. Let chaos become identity. And let them remember, always, that your danger cannot be negotiated. They will not say it aloud, but they know, deep down, they know something has changed. They can feel it in the air, in the way you move, in the way the silence bends around you. That quiet shift is your signature. This is no longer about proving yourself. This is about living without proof, about walking through the world as a force they cannot name, a storm they cannot chart, a danger they cannot negotiate, and they will feel it, always. Your presence has become a question they cannot answer. Your silence, a language they cannot speak. Your chaos, a truth they cannot deny. They may try to look away, but they will never unsee it. That is your victory. So ask yourself, will you retreat into comfort, or will you stand fully, unshaken, dangerous? Will you become the question they cannot answer, the storm they cannot contain? The answer is yours to claim.